So we're going to start. I do some scratch brownies. They're not a lot much more work than the box of brownies, and I think they taste a lot better. And you can do a lot of fun things to modify them for yourself. So that's kind of a cool thing to do. I have already melted a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, and in the microwave. Now this is not a heart healthy. This is not a Weight Watchers approved recipe by any stretch of the imagination. But this is you add 2 cups of sugar, and I just use white sugar. And for this recipe, 2 cups of, you've got a full cup of butter, you got a full cup of sugar. If you're making this recipe, it is not for the low cal crowd. So you might as well go in full quality ingredients. And one of the things that's important when you're doing this is that with the sugar and the butter is that you take the time to really mix them together so you can get that sugar to really dissolve as much as possible. It's called creaming, and the more you can get that all mixed in, and the less kind of, sometimes you get a grittiness when the sugar doesn't melt or get dissolved as much. So you want to make sure you get that in there real easy. All right. Now, a lot of you, if you didn't get the recipe in the email, I can send it to you. But basically, you just put the ingredients in on order, and it's pretty simple. The next part is 4 whole eggs. And I was at the farmer's market this morning, got some eggs, just crack those in. You get nice bright orangey yolks from the farmer's market. The chickens get a chance to go outside. They get to eat some grubs and some bugs and some worms. Chickens aren't vegetarians, so it's good. And just take the time to get those all incorporated. Yeah, ice cream. These are great with ice cream. These also these are, you're going to want a 9x13 pan. So to bake these off in. So they make a good size, good amount of brownies. It's good for a party or, you know, or just one giant brownie for you. So I've already turned the oven on to 350 to bake. So by the time you're going through your list here, usually the oven is pretty close to being ready if it's not already good to go. The next thing you do is you add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. The cap on my vanilla bottle is about a teaspoon. So it saves me from having to do 1 extra dish. And then 2/3 cup. Sorry, Don. It's really I'm on my computer and I can't get any closer. Otherwise, I'd be on top of the screen. This is 2/3 cup powder of cocoa powder. I also like to use a darker, the special dark cocoa powder sometimes. That makes a really dark brownie, which is really nice. Or you can just use like a regular cocoa powder, and that's just a little bit of a lighter color, whichever way you want to go on that. Just, this is kind of one of the messier parts to do this. The cocoa powder takes a little bit to get worked in.
Spencer, would you lift it up so we can see it?
Yes, I was just about to do that. So that's kind of what you're looking for. It's kind of goopy right now.
So is that all your ingredients?
Nope, not quite. Just a couple more.
Okay. I'll wait patiently.
Now we just throw in a cup of flour. And that's just all-purpose flour. I use unbleached, you know, just general, you know, kind of a basic all-purpose flour.
So Spencer, if you were to lower your computer, would we be able to see what you were doing? Just lower the face of it? Great. Thank you.
Just making sure that you get all of that stuff worked in so that it looks nice and dark, chocolatey, not leaving any flour. You don't want to taste any of the flour that might not get mixed in. You want it all just really well incorporated.
Hey, Spencer.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you don't use a mixer? Is there a special reason why you do it by hand?
I just tend to be kind of old school. So I don't do a lot of I don't actually use a mixer very often when I do any baking. You know, if the power goes out, I still can work. So,
Okay.
so I guess that's the way. It just, and it's one less thing I don't have to wash, you know, all those tines off. Or I'm the kind of person that would get my fingers stuck in there. So it's just kind of a safety thing for me. And then the last thing is the last two ingredients are actually really important. You add a little bit of, you add a half a teaspoon of salt. And what that does is it kind of brings out the chocolatiness and you need to add that a little bit with that little sour, that little saltiness. And then another half teaspoon of baking powder. And the baking powder helps them rise up and give a little bit of volume. Now, my secret ingredient that's not on the recipe is a splash of coffee. And a splash of coffee really brings out the chocolate. You don't have to add it if you don't like coffee, or if for whatever reason it doesn't work for you, but it will help it bring out a little bit of chocolateness to it. And experiment for yourself how much you like to add. There's no rhyme or reason. I'd start with maybe a teaspoon or so, a tablespoon. You can add instant coffee. That's true. I like a nice dark, a strong coffee. So we make strong coffee here at the house. And then the last thing you want to do is grease your pan.
So Spencer, what surprised me was just the 1 cup of flour.
I know, right? It's almost gluten. It's gluten light.
Sounds like a lot of good chocolate goodness there.
There's a lot of chocolate goodness there. Yes.
Spencer, does it matter what sort of pan? I see you're using a glass pan.
It will. The only thing that it will affect is your cooking time. These glass pans, they take a little bit longer. If you're using like a black metal pan, like with Teflon, that will go a little bit faster. So you just want to pay attention to your cooking times. Just scraping off my spatula here because I like it. Get as much in the brownies as you can.
Spencer, I was in the grocery store this morning and I was gonna buy the ingredients, but I know I would eat most of the brownies, so I kept going
It
and
does.
figured I'd enjoy yours.
It doesn't take a whole lot. So there you go. That's all you do. You put that in the oven for about 25 minutes. Again, start with 25 because if your pan takes a little bit longer. So I'll stick those in. Set my timer. And through the magic of television, here's a batch I made yesterday. And this is what they look like finished.
Oh,
Nice.
looks good.
Cut into them so you can.
We were salivating.
I know, right?
Oh, right.
Here a little bit more,
Good.
but this is kind of what you get.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, it looks good, Spencer.
It does
Get
look
the
good.
ice cream.
Oh.
Spencer, do you put nuts in it sometime?
I don't do nuts. I'm not a huge fan of nut brownies. I never really have. But if you like nuts, it's perfect. Walnuts, peanuts. It'd be great. So,
So Spencer, throw one in your pocket when you deliver the plants this afternoon.
I know, right?
Spencer, this is Paulette. This is Paulette. I am a peanut freak. So when I cook just about anything that I could add peanut butter into, I do. Would that make the brownies drier if I added just like peanut butter to it? And I'm a nut freak, so I would add peanut butter and I would add nuts galore.
you don't have to worry about. What I would do with the peanut butter is I would do the brownies first, put them in the pan, and then just take some peanut butter and just swirl it in. Cool.
Good.
Okay.
Take a little bit longer to cook. I don't think it's going to make them drier. The oil of the peanut butter will probably make them a little bit more moist. They're already very moist with 2 cups of butter.
Okay.
2 sticks of butter.
Plus adding the nuts to it also, because I would put walnuts in there.
Your oil or they're, especially when you get them at the store, the oils are what they are. I don't think it's going to change that part too much.
Oh, okay.
Man, that was great, Spencer.
That was awesome.
Yeah, nice job.
These are
That was nice.
turnips today. We'll have some baby turnips for supper. So it balances out the.
Got it. Thank you.
Great
Are there
job.
any other questions for Spencer?
We probably asked him while he was cooking.
So how long does a pan last in your household?
Doesn't look like long.
See, that's why I didn't bring him home.
This is a pretty good size. This 9 by 30.
Yeah, that's a lot of brownies.
Yeah, so
Spencer, that casserole dish, that corn and casserole dish could be worth some money for you.
this one.
Yeah.
Great job, Spencer.
Yes, thank you.
16.
Great day. Thank you for listening, guys.
Great.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks.
Thank you for sharing.
All right.